Hey friends, this is T again with another reaction video. And today we're going to be doing a reaction on Snarky J. Now, I came across her video probably about like a month and a half ago. She was wearing some type of outfit, I can't remember, but she does cosplay on her video. I think I went to her Instagram, she also does it there too. She probably doing on other platforms as well, but that seemed to be her stick. She does cosplay for movies and things of that sort. Now I thought at first she was just some Twitch girl and that was it. You know how they not really interested in Star Wars or anything else, Mandalorian and all this stuff. They just do cosplay just to bring in the simps and the guys that just want to see her cleavage and things of that sort. Okay, not counting that out completely now, because I do think some of her videos do have something to do with that. But I'm starting to believe now that she really liked things like the Mandalorian and Star Wars and things of that sort. You know, movies in general, because that's her thing too. She does reactions and reviews on movies and all these other things. So I get the feeling she takes her job seriously. But at the beginning, she just did that. She just reacted to it. It really wasn't anything, you know, too serious or anything like that. She just cosplayed and talk about the movie she liked and things of that sort. But of lately though, now she's starting to be really critical, especially when it comes to Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, when it comes to Star Wars. I mean, she's starting to get really serious about it, right? We're talking about borderline canceling type serious, okay? You know, risky commentary when it comes down to this kind of stuff. I mean, let's go ahead and go with this video right here. Look at the title: A Letter to Kathleen Kennedy from Star Wars Toxic Fans Base. Okay, well, we can talk about this more, but I just want to go ahead and do my announcement as I always do. So please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? All right, let's get started. All right, like I was saying, at first I thought she was just a cosplay girl. You know, the women on Twitch, right? You know, they go ahead there, they cosplay, try to pretend like they really like Star Wars when they really don't. But they know that they can get a lot of guys to donate to them and make a lot of money. Now, I'm sure this is part of her job too as well. She knows she's a very attractive girl. Tell by the cleavage and everything else, and the cosplay outfits are always sexy. So I'm sure she understands that what she brings to the table can make her a lot of money. But now she's getting a little bit more serious about it, because she knows that, you know, Kathleen Kennedy and a lot of other people at Disney are attacking the fans, basically, right? You know, their movies are failing, it's doing terrible, just like the Acolyte of recent. And they blame it on the toxic fan base, mostly men, mostly white men, okay? So it's like, everybody think it's crazy. Everybody think it's stupid. Disney losing money left and right. They're making crappy movies. Everybody's starting to lose interest in Star Wars. I mean, to the point, even the girls that do the Twitch and like the cosplay Star Wars don't even want to do it anymore, because they screwing it up so much. And Kathleen Kennedy's supposed to be for women, and yet the ones that really getting turned off by this are women, because they love to cosplay this stuff, right? But now they lose interest. And maybe that might be the reason why she's starting to become upset about it. Because from my understanding, I might be wrong, but from my understanding, she loved Star Wars, okay? And she loved to do the cosplay for that. But now I think she's also losing interest in this as well. And that can lose women a lot of money. If this continues, when you really look at it, if this continues, if they keep on ruining movies and things of that sort, women gonna lose a lot of money over this. I mean, yeah, sure, they can do the sexy thing all they want, but they know a lot of nerds love movies, and they love people like Princess Leia, you know, in that metal bathing suit or bikini or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, girls, I'm sure, made a lot of money back in the day dressing like that on social media or whatever, right? But slowly but surely, they taking things away from women. When they put sexy women on games, for example, now they're making these really, really unattractive women on there. So pretty girls like her are possibly losing money over this thing, because beauty sells. And these girls know they can make a lot of money with selling. It's almost like Kathleen Kennedy, even though she's attacking a lot of the men, but all her decisions are going to hurt women too as well. And I think slowly but surely, a lot of these women are starting to get it now. I did a video on the N-word girl yesterday. Definitely check it out. It's on my channel. Definitely take a look at that. But I'm noticing women, beautiful women, are starting to get really angry over this. I think a lot of them in Hollywood and celebrities and social media are starting to lose money and lose jobs because Kathleen Kennedy got some kind of warped sense of what women want. And these women don't want that. Maybe the women that she hires may want it, but not women like Snarky J. And the N-word girl made a point. She said the people that's taking over are nerds, basically. They got treated like crap when they was in high school or whatever, and now that they got power, they like taking revenge. Not only on the men that treated them like crap, but also against the women, the beautiful women that probably ignored them while they were in school or whatever. Now they got power. Now they want to be on the forefront instead of these women like Snarky J, for example. So it's almost like not only an attack on men, but also an attack on beautiful women. Now, you beautiful women should think about this now, okay? Y'all thinking, okay, who cares? You know, it's Star Wars. I don't care about Star Wars. I don't care if she attacking men. But slowly but surely, she's phasing y'all out as well, okay? She putting her friends in there, and a lot of her friends really ain't all that attractive. But she putting her friends in powerful positions, and then they hiring girls that either crazy or not attractive or whatever. And they also infiltrating beauty pageants because there was some overweight girl that won the beauty pageant. Video games, putting unattractive girls in there. And a lot of the times it's the writers for the video games. They using their images, trying to pretend like they're using model images. But even when they use the model images, then they dumb it down and make it look like really weird or whatever, right? Only ones that doing video games that not messing with the great formula is the Japanese. They won't change it. They know where the money is. They ain't stupid. But for some reason, the West is just doing all kind of crazy stuff nowadays. And it's not only hurting men, but it's hurting women. I think if I may make an argument, it's hurting women more. Because men, you know, after a while, we'll just not watch the movie or not play the game. And we'll move on to something else. But women rely on the money that is brought in from beauty standards, especially like Snarky J. If nobody give a crap about Star Wars, if nobody give a crap about the Mandalorian, who's she gonna dress up as? Nobody gonna care. That's why I believe a lot of women decided not to do any more Star Wars dress-ups because they like it's ruined now because the nerds don't care. The nerds are complaining they don't want to watch it. So they like, you know, why would anybody want to see me dress up as Princess Leia when nobody even watches Star Wars from the get-go? So it's messing with their money. You know what I'm saying? So it's understandable why Snarky J decided to make this video. And I'm really excited to watch the full thing. I watched a little bit at the beginning, so I really got excited. I was going to do it yesterday, but I decided to wait until this morning to do it, okay? And hopefully you enjoy it, okay? Let's go ahead and get started.
Kathleen Kennedy, the Star Wars fan base is now toxic, as radioactive as Chernobyl and twice as ugly as anything inside. Hi y'all, Snarky J cosplay here. We live in a society that loves inclusivity, but for some reason also really prioritizes putting labels on everything. All for the purpose of separating us into increasingly more marginalized groups so that we can all play the "you can't criticize me, I'm this" card. And over at the House of Mouse, where the daily chore is desecrating the ever-rotting corpse of Star Wars and its legacy, nobody likes labels more than Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and all the other shills that work every day incredibly hard to make Kathleen's view of the Force come true. The Force is...
Yeah, the Force is female. Yeah, I agree with her on that, putting people on marginalized people. Well, at least that's what they say that they do. But they don't really do it, though. They do a lot of shady stuff behind the scenes. But I'm a margin person, I guess, right? I fall into that group. I'm black. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe being male might work against me, but I am black, okay? And what they're doing, I don't feel like it's helping me at all. If you ruin all my movies and everything else, and then you like killing relationships and all this, I don't see how that's benefiting me as a black male, okay? So whatever she's doing, I don't think she's doing for my benefit. I know them jokers are getting rich from it though. I can tell you that much, and they're gaining even more and more power. But they ruining the thing that they are working for. She got all this power for some reason, I don't know why, but they gave her all this power to wield Star Wars, which no experience to do so, or she probably don't even give a crap about Star Wars. But for some reason, they want to give her all the power for that. And even though she's just ruining it, they continue to let her do it. People come up with the idea is maybe they want to destroy Star Wars. Maybe that might be the real reason. And I think that's the reason why Snarky J has an issue with a lot of this stuff. And I believe that's the reason why she decided to do this video.
Female, nerds are gay. The Star Wars fanbase is toxic and male-dominated. Star Wars fans are embarrassing for having opinions, all that good stuff. And we talk about this a lot here. Well, I talk about this a lot here, but I thought, you know what? Instead of ranting, why don't I do something productive? And instead, today, craft a letter to Kathleen Kennedy, her supporters, and Disney shills everywhere about the truth about Star Wars fans and see if maybe, just maybe, somebody will stop insulting, stop slapping labels, and actually listen. But first
But it's great that she's doing it. See, if a man was doing this, they'll say he's toxic, racist, homophobic, all these other things they would call us, you know, pull all kind of stuff out of the hat, right? But it's great that these women now are deciding to speak up. And it's great that the beautiful women are speaking up because more people will pay attention if she's really attractive. I'm just saying, man, you know, if we're gonna win this type of war to bring back great movies again, women are gonna be a big part of that. You know, when they was kind of like working against us or not saying anything, it didn't work well for us at all. What I mean, but we need people like Snarky J to go out there and speak, and hopefully more women who love movies are gonna say the same thing. I know it's easy to just stay silent and just go ahead and make your money. And any woman that does that, you know, I don't hold no ill will against you or anything like that. But we do need help, though. We do. And if you think you can help us, and if you do want to help us, if your livelihood depends on good movies and things of that sort, I don't care if you do cosplay, I don't care if you do reactions or reviews or whatever you do. If this is how you make your money, this stuff gonna hurt you as well.
I have to keep this channel running somehow, so... Now, dear Kathleen Kennedy, on May 25th, 1977, one of the greatest franchises of all time was born. Back then, it was just called Star Wars, and it wouldn't...
I remember that. I was a kid back then, man. It was like, when Star Wars came out, that's all I heard about. With the music, the t-shirts, the toys, all this kind of stuff, man. Everybody was talking about Star Wars. I mean, to the point where they started bringing it in clubs, because you saw it on like TV. It ain't like I was old enough to go to clubs now, but you saw it on like TV. Everybody doing these robot dances and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you need to watch the documentary for this, man. It's incredible, incredible. And it launched 3 people's careers: Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamilton. It launched their careers, man. Harrison Ford, of course, did better than the rest of them, but the other 2, they still made a lot of money, and people knew them from Star Wars, okay?
It be known as A New Hope, which is what Star Wars became for a lot of us, until 1979.
Yeah.
46 and a half years ago, people lined up in droves to watch and experience something they'd never seen before.
Yeah, it's not only that, it's also the feeling. I was watching, Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. Well, actually, I was watching somebody else do a reaction to it, because sometimes I like to see other people's reaction to movies I've already seen. But the feeling behind it was incredible. I felt how I felt when I first watched it years ago. It was just that feeling when you watch these movies. And people want to be moved. They want to experience something. It's not just, I haven't seen this before. I mean, that's definitely included. But it's also the feeling that you get while watching it and when you leave. And then when you think about it afterwards. It's that feeling, you know? And unfortunately, a lot of these kids these days are not going to have these feelings because of the way they're making movies now. So it's unfortunate. But back then, it was incredible.
A new up-and-coming space opera that would literally change the course of history forever, and would also give birth to something new, the Star Wars fan. The Star Wars fan can't be easily described physically. Since 1977, the Star Wars fan has spoken every language.
Look at that, man. Look at that. You know, I mean, and George Lucas, from my understanding, he was the one that started the merchandise. I mean, they sold merchandise in the past too, but not at this level. Not at this level. I mean, everybody was buying this stuff. I remember going to school, seeing people bringing lightsabers, all kind of junk, man, dressed up and everything, man. I'm talking about the fan base. If you want to talk about fan base, Star Wars was the biggest one of my knowledge. I don't know any other movie that had a fan base like this. Okay? And Kathleen Kennedy just threw it all away. Just threw it all away. Because these are the people that was probably looking forward to the new Star Wars and now is disappointed. They older now, they mature, but they still remember that feeling. Remember what I said? That feeling. They still remember that. And they was hoping that they was going to get it through the new movies. But unfortunately, they was disappointed, I'm sure. Just like me.
Under the sun has been from everywhere you can imagine, is black, white, every color. Some famously have male parts, some famously have lady parts.
That's the thing. That was the famous outfit right there. Carrie Fisher didn't care for this, from my understanding, right? But it doesn't matter. She became a household name, man, especially for this outfit. I remember watching an episode of Friends when Rachel what's his name? Wanted her to dress up as Carrie Fisher when she had this outfit on, man. It was funny. She did it too. But yeah, a lot of guys, especially young dudes that first saw that kind of thing, it was like, oh my gosh, she's hot. And it amazes me though that Carrie Fisher didn't like that. That's kind of weird. You know, you would think that she would want guys like, you know, fawning all over her, right? Talking about how beautiful she was in that outfit, how sexy she was. But from my understanding, she really didn't care for it. But it was something that George Lucas wanted. And he understood what it was to sell a movie. And he knew that, you know, because look, she started off in a strong role. And she's been strong throughout the whole franchise. But they wanted to, you know, pump up that sex appeal. Especially since now she had a romance with Han Solo. So they wanted her to be a little bit more feminine. Because at the beginning, she was just mouthy and bossy and all this kind of stuff, which was nice. I mean, she pulled it off very well, very well. But after a while, it's like, come on, let's make it a little bit more feminine. You know, she in a relationship or whatever. Let's bring a little bit of that out. And boy, did that hit the mark, man. That hit the mark with every teenage boy out there, and then some.
Parts, and some, well, we're not entirely sure. But the Star Wars fan, most importantly and above all, has always been passionate about Star Wars. Yeah. After all, fan is short for fanatic for a reason. The Star Wars fan has raved about the—
Hold on, I just want to bring back that picture again. There's that picture of it.
Fan, most importantly and above all, has always been passionate about—
I wanted to bring this picture again. These people this guy probably grew up during the time when Star Wars came out. And now he's excited bringing his sons. I'm assuming they're his sons, right? Bringing his sons with him to get that same experience, that same feeling. And how disappointed he probably was when he saw these latest Star Wars. He probably don't even go anymore. And his son's probably not even interested. It's so sad, man. It's sad.
About Star Wars. After all, fan is short for fanatic for a reason. Yeah. The Star Wars fan has raved about The Empire Strikes Back and lambasted George Lucas for the inclusion of Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. The Star Wars fan—
You know, a lot of people like the Ewoks. I didn't care for them jokers too much. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of women probably liked it. And it probably was for the kids, and some things were for the women, but I didn't care for that though.
Has ranted about midichlorians, but raved about the beauty of that final battle in Revenge of the Sith. We blew up YouTube when that first trailer for Episode 7 dropped, and we cried in theaters when somehow was enough of an explanation for how Palpatine returned. And yes, our criticisms are passionate and plentiful when they need to be. For the thousands of Star Wars-focused creators on YouTube,
I'm sorry to keep interrupting in the middle of what she's saying though, but she said something that just kind of hit me there. Look, they hate the passion when you criticize their movies. They hate that. But it's the same passion as when we get excited when you make a good movie. You love that part of it, but you don't like the passions when you put out punching crap. And what makes it more intense is we know you're doing it on purpose. It ain't like you're making mistakes and we can look over some of the stuff in the past and we can try to figure out how to fix it kind of a situation. It's one of those situations where you're doing this on purpose and you're telling the fans, screw you. We're going to do it anyway. That's where the anger is coming from, mostly. People are disappointed all the time. But the fact of the matter is that they doing it on purpose is what making fans even more disgusted.
There are millions of fans all around the globe who also have their own criticisms and their own voices. They're just maybe a little more camera shy than the rest of us. And that, Kathleen, seems to be the problem here, is that because Star Wars fans are once again using their voices and now being heard en masse, we're being labeled as something we're not. The Acolyte has been stirring up Star Wars drama like it's nobody's business, with its outspoken Weinstein-loving
everybody's still wondering how in the world she was able to get in there. And when you really think about it, they knew exactly what this man was doing and they didn't care. Some reason they felt like they needed to throw him under the bus. Then they acted like, oh, he's such a monster. But a lot of them got rich from this dude, her included. Only reason why she even got the Acolyte, I believe, is because of this dude right here. I never heard her speak any ill wills against him. Maybe it might have been some articles when she tried to play that role or whatever, man. But somehow I get the feeling I don't think she hate that man. But that's just my opinion, of course. But I'm just saying, man, come on. How you can work for this guy? And she was doing all his stuff for him, making all the arrangements and everything else. How you think this guy was able to freaking hook up with all those women, man? She knew his schedule. She was his personal assistant. Personal, okay? That's the word here. Personal assistant, all right? So come on, you telling me she was completely clueless? But now she's running Star Wars now? Well, not running Star Wars, but now she's heading her own movies. And I'm sure this is not the only movie Kathleen Kennedy is going to give her. She's going to give her more power, probably. Because that seemed to be a thing. Maybe that's the connection there. And I never thought about it this way. Kathleen Kennedy used to be an assistant. Think about it. And now this girl used to be an assistant. So maybe that's the connection here. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe it ain't just all about Weinstein. Maybe the fact of the matter is she felt she's some kind of protege or some crap like that, right? And she felt this connection. And she wanted to give her the leg up too as well. But you got to go by the talent too. Is it whoever, like I say, whoever made the mistake to hire Kathleen Kennedy made the same mistake in hiring this woman.
Creator Leslie Headland, its poorly written scripts, and its canon-breaking plot, Star Wars fans are speaking out about The Acolyte in droves. And in my perspective, the squeaky wheel always gets the grease, right? The people speak, call for change, and change happens. Whining historically has always been a great problem solver. After all, don't we very clearly live in a world where a vocal minority has a chokehold not just on corporations and brands, but on politicians, the media, and society as a whole? So why then, when Star Wars fans speak, are we labeled toxic?
Because it's against what they want. They're making tons of money over fist. Even though it is destroying companies, destroying people's faith in the United States and everything else, they making money hand over fist. And that's all they care about. They don't care about the outcomes of what happens in our country. They don't care about the outcomes, how they're destroying Hollywood. They don't care. They make a lot of money doing this. Probably more money than actually going out there and making good movies. So why would they give this up? They're going to drain it as long as they possibly can. Sooner or later, I'm sure they're going to remove Kathleen Kennedy or she's going to walk away or something like that. Basically, after she get everything she wants. Then once that's over, and maybe then they decide to hire somebody that actually want to make good movies, then that might happen. Okay? But that's the reason why, you know, they so defensive when it comes down to the fans, because they don't want to stop that money flow from coming in. The spice must flow, as they say in Dune.
Complaints about script, canon, performance, plot, they're all pushed away and deemed invalid. But why? Clearly the average Star Wars fan is not the sci-fi loving nerd it once was. The average Star Wars fan is now a toxic, woman-hating, racist, old, white man, crusading under the black banner of well-known Star Wars creators like The Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and Star Wars Theory.
I have to say something about what she just said. I just want to make this clear. And this is the problem I have too as well. She's an entertainer. She do reviews, she do cosplay, she do all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure at the beginning, that's all she wanted to do. She wanted to have fun and make money at the same time, just like me. But unfortunately, it's almost like we're being forced to talk about these particular subjects we really didn't want to talk about. I don't want to get into politics. I'm sure she don't want to get into that either. But what's going on in the world is affecting her job. And eventually it'll start affecting mine too. So, because once in a while I have to do these reactions or these stories, and a little bit bleeds into a little bit of politics. Because their hands are in it. They bring in politics into everything. Everything. And like I say, when you watch her earlier videos, all she dealt with was the movies and the entertainment parts of it. She never talked about politics. But unfortunately, and I'm not saying she's going in full on politics as well, but she understands politics does have something to do with this. And she feel like she had to speak on it because it's ruining everybody. You go in California, all these businesses. McDonald's just closed in California, man. McDonald's, you never hear about that. People make too much money off McDonald's, owning a McDonald's. But yet, this one had to close. And many other places closed. Hollywood losing money by the millions and billions, man. But yet, they continue to do this. Like I say, man, you know, these people in power right now, they making money. And I think they feel like they make more money during destructive chaos than they do just doing good things. And that seemed to be the thing. But like I say, man, she has the same problem I got. I'm trying to stay out of politics. I don't want to get into that. Just want to do entertainment. But unfortunately, they seem to be dragging us. We kicking and screaming, trying not to do it. But it's almost as if you have no choice but to say something.
Star Wars fan base surely still isn't filled with folks from different walks of life, gender identities, races, religious ideologies. Surely all the Disney Star Wars dissenters are racist, toxic old white men. And the minorities you and everybody at Disney claims to represent are all united by a diverse hive mind that tells them that Disney Star Wars is the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, Miss Kennedy, I'm afraid to tell you that you and your criticisms of this fan base are entirely wrong. Much like how when you get married, you also marry your in-laws, when Disney acquired Star Wars in 2012,
the biggest mistake he made, and I'm sure he's regretting it right now. Shaking the hand with the devil. I'm sure he regretting that big time. He probably really believed that they was going to follow his vision when it comes to Star Wars. And I'm sure that's what they told him. And he believed them. And unlike J.K. Rowling, he decided to freaking sell off all his controlling power to these people. J.K. Rowling never did that. She was smart. She was a great businesswoman. You know, even though they're attacking her, they know that she still got control. But he just gave it all away now. And he get to live long enough to see them destroy his legacy. Ain't that sad? That's really sad.
Acquired a fan base. A passionate one, so incredibly and insanely dedicated to the galaxy far, far away that it is the only fan base that has really developed an entire elite costuming group with rules and an approval process just to play dress up.
These days, let's go back to that for a second. These days, you can't get anybody to buy the stuff now. They're not buying the toys, action figures, none of that. Look what George Lucas did. Look at that. These people were spending tons of money. They were reading the novels, all of that, playing the games, watching the movies. I mean, they would continuously over and over again buying the same movies of Star Wars. First it started off at cassette tapes, and then it went to discs. and then it went to digital, and every time he put out Star Wars again and added something or improved on it some way, people went out and brought it. You think they're gonna do that now with the newer movies? No, not at all. These fans won't exist ever again, I believe.
With rules and an approval process just to play dress up. You, Kathleen Kennedy, and every other box-checking innovator at Disney, you should have known what you were getting into, and my theory is you did know what you were getting into. And yet, through all of our support, all of our well-spent money, and all of our very valid criticisms, you villainized us.
Now, she can say that because she spent probably a lot of money on those costumes. A lot of money on those costumes. It's almost like an investment for her job. She spent a lot of money. So she is a fan, and at the same time, it's a business move. It's just like the fans. Fans spent tons of money on Star Wars. Now they got Star Wars setting up all in their houses. Some of them got like posters and, you know, card cutouts and all this other stuff sitting in their house. And now they can't really enjoy it. Especially when people like Mark Hamilton is trying to defend Kathleen Kennedy. Now they got all this stuff, and now it's like, because the exciting part about Star Wars is you're wondering what's going to be next. They did a great job. Now what? What else is coming? Are we going to see more of Luke Skywalker? Are we going to see more of the Sith? Are they going to develop in a certain way, an interesting way? Not like the Acolyte. No, I'm talking about something really good. You know what I'm saying? They look forward to the future of what Star Wars would bring. And now she killed that dream for everybody. So her and her friends can get rich.
Hate diversity. Why did we love Lando Calrissian? And why were we upset when Finn, played by a black man, John Boyega, was hidden on Chinese posters for The Force Awakens, and you were happy to let—
Star Wars is something, man. Let's go back to that for a second, man. Let's go back to that. Ain't that something? They swear up and down that they love black people. Swear up and down. But when it comes down to other countries, man, they ain't standing up for nobody. Look at that tiny little picture right there. I've seen more Chinese movies that included black people than I see Disney sending over posters and movies including black people. And that's something else. Everybody else actually use other black people in their movies in other countries. But when it comes down to Disney, they pick and choose how they gonna represent minorities. Ain't that something? Look at that, man. I almost didn't see him, man. At first, I was thinking he wasn't even in the poster, but I just caught my eye on him right now. Ain't that something else? And they doing the same thing to women. Oh, we want women to have power and stuff like that, but they firing women like Gina Carano, and then they ain't paying they female workers not that much money. Well, at least these women feel like they deserve more, so they not really even helping them either. So either way it goes, they're not telling the truth.
And you were happy to let that happen as long as the Chinese market was lining your pockets. If we hate women, why do we still worship our princess, Princess Leia? And why did we rave about her development from princess to general? Why did we love Padme Amidala? What about how we fell in love with Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars animated series? What about how we showed up in droves to watch Rogue One, a movie that was led by a female hero, Jyn Erso, and we made that movie over $1 billion. If we're the ones that hate women so much, why did you fire Gina Carano for expressing opinion?
Yeah, that should have told you right there. They don't love women. They just love or black people or anything like that. As long as you agree with them, you cool. But as soon as you don't, they don't care if you're a white man. They don't care if you're a black man. They don't care if you're a black woman. They don't care if you're a white woman. They don't care at all. They will get rid of you and try to tarnish you at the same time. It was one thing for them to fire her, but then they tried to tarnish her reputation. And I think that's part of the reason why she's suing them, because she might have just moved on if she was able to get other jobs and just do her thing. But they tried to tarnish her, make her seem like she was a terrible person. And now it's almost like she's blackballed in Hollywood. She can't get jobs. So why not? I hope she get everything she asked for.
opinions you didn't agree with. If we're all so old and white and male, how do you explain creators like myself who are consistently outspoken against the actions of Disney Star Wars?
Yeah.
If we're the racist and bigoted ones, why do you seem to think that all minorities, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Latinos, etc., why do you feel that minorities have to be united in their love for Disney Star Wars? Is it because you think that their non-whiteness overpowers any individuality and ability to think for ourselves? Isn't that the foundation for bigotry?
Yeah, that is. I mean, yeah, they tend to think if you don't vote Democrat, then you ain't black. I think Biden said that, right? So it's like, and don't get me wrong, I have this issue with black people too, man, because they expect you to act a certain way. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. As soon as you start acting like an individual, they don't like you anymore. All of a sudden you acting white or some crazy mess. You know, like in school, if you like raise your hand and try to answer questions, you're acting white. If you dress a certain kind of way, if you speak a certain kind of way, you white. You can't be Asian. They could call you Asian or anything like that, right? They gonna call you acting white. You ain't acting Hispanic. You acting white. That's the go-to thing. You acting. Ain't that something? Ain't that something else?
Labeling people you don't agree with and then villainizing them for those labels and their opinions? How should we continue to love and support Star Wars when you're turning it into the planet-destroying empire we've been rebelling against since 1977? You, in your Force is Female t-shirt and your Mickey Mouse ear headband, have taken a franchise that we have known and loved for almost 50 years, that we have kept alive with fan fiction, with novels, with comics, with homemade costumes and adoration, and you have told us that not only does it not belong to us, but we are now bigots for not liking the direction that you've taken it in.
It's like Kathleen Kennedy kicked you out the club. You've been a part of this club for years. You spent all kind of money, fees and everything else just to be a part of this club. And then when she becomes the new lead person in this club, she throw you out because you just have an opinion that she don't like. A woman is probably not even interested at all in Star Wars at all, because I haven't seen any signs that she give a crap. No signs. And yet she's the one running Star Wars. And guess what? To me, I think that's Bob Iger's decision. Might be even George Lucas at the beginning, but now I'm sure he's regretting that.
Taken our valid criticisms and have thrown them out the window in favor of insulting us. You have decided that your main audience is no longer the right audience, but blame us when your projects fail. You have told us this is not for you, and when we have cancelled Disney Plus and moved on to greener pastures, you have called us bigots, ists, and phobes for not buying into your product. Unlike The Mandalorian once said, this is not the way. This is, however, the way that you tank one of the greatest franchises of all time.
It should have been the easiest thing for this woman to do, but she needed to make some type of name for herself. She did. The person that destroyed Star Wars. That's the name she walking away with. And you know what? I don't care how much money Kathleen Kennedy ends up having when she finally leaves. I don't even care. You know, I don't care if she's a billionaire. I really don't give a crap. But you know what? It's going to mean absolutely nothing. Because nobody going to care. And people are going to be happy that she's gone. And then she's going to have to live her life with a bunch of money she probably won't even end up spending. In a miserable life. Growing old and nobody giving a crap. And you know, she probably get a couple of awards from a lot of these hypocrite Hollywood people. But then that's going to be it. They're going to forget about her. You saw how they threw freaking J.K. Rowling under the bus. But she's not going out in the quiet night. She's going to make sure that her legacy lives on as long as possible. And she's still fighting for the things she really believes in. I don't agree with everything J.K. Rowling does, but I can at least say she got balls.
By destroying the legacy of characters like Luke and Leia Skywalker, Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and more, to make room for your new ones, you destroy our interest in the Star Wars name. By laying waste to the canon established by the original trilogy and the prequels, you lay waste to our belief in Star Wars as a concept. By insulting our identities and labeling us the villains in your new story, you insult our individuality and you inspire us to label ourselves something much worse to your bottom line than toxic, and that is apathetic. For as
you know, it's interesting too, and this is what I believe Kathleen Kennedy really believed in when she did all this. She really thought women was going to rally behind her. They was going to love what she was going. They were going to support her, and they were going to be like, "Oh, we so excited." But these women never was interested in this crap. They'll go on YouTube talking about, "Yay, Kathleen Kennedy, yay," but they didn't go to the movies. Only time they went to go see what Star Wars, in most cases, is when their boyfriend went, or their husband went, or they wanted to take their kids, something like that. But they didn't care, and it shows because they out there saying that the men are the toxic ones, but the women ain't going to see it either. But they never criticize the women. If you notice that, they never say anything about the women. Women are not showing up for the basketball games, for women basketball to be more specific. They ain't showing up for these crappy movies that Kathleen Kennedy putting out. But ain't no criticism on that. It's always the men. We always got to go to the games. The women basketball league. If the man don't show up, we ain't crap. We don't show up for these toxic, crazy movies that Kathleen Kennedy putting out. We get the criticism. Not the women. Never the women. Because she knows she can't do it. Even though the women aren't even supporting her, she still can't say anything. Because that's her whole basis of why she's doing what she's doing. At least that's what she says. That she's doing it for women. And women don't even care.
awful as we are, we're what keep the lights on at whatever's left of Lucasfilm. For all the toxic, angry white men you claim you don't want to cater to anymore, we, the apparently angry, toxic old white men, are what you need to be able to take that 12th European vacation with your husband this year. Without us, there is no Star Wars. Label us all you want, but the day toxic Star Wars fans stop caring enough to be toxic, the franchise dies. And the more you continue to desecrate the legacy that it has, the more you continue to insult this once passionate, loving fan base, the closer you get to the eventual death of Star Wars being met with thunderous applause. So
in the end, when the fans don't care, that's when they're going to want you back. And they're going to do everything. It's like Bud Light. At first, they were like, you know, who cares what you think? We don't care. Even though you are the ones that ban most of our alcohol, but we don't give a crap about you. Not only did they feel that way, they pretty much let you know that. And then when they lost billions, all of a sudden they begging you to come back now. The hubris of it all. And this is exactly what Disney gonna do. When finally, when people even stop talking about Star Wars, that's the day when they're gonna turn around and be like, look, see, we did something for y'all now. Y'all can come back. By that time, nobody gonna give a crap about Star Wars anymore. They paid all that money for this franchise just to ruin it. And they're doing the same thing to the MCU. Nobody gonna care after a while, and that's when it's gonna be a problem, because they want to censor and stop YouTubers from commenting on these crappy movies. But guess what? You're gonna get to the point when even they gonna stop talking about it, because nobody gonna be interested in reviews. Nobody gonna be interested in people talking about Star Wars anymore. So they gonna move on to something else, because men always do. We move on to whatever else is popular, and then of course, people like Kathleen Kennedy is gonna follow men. That's how they work. If men stop watching Star Wars altogether, and unless they moved on to movies about iguanas, and all of a sudden guys love to watch movies about iguanas, right? People like Kathleen Kennedy is just gonna try to move over there then, and try to take over. And then iguanas and women, they gonna follow men everywhere they go. Because they know the driving force for all this stuff is men. Women ain't paying money for this stuff. Women go out with guys, guys buying the tickets. Women ain't individually just going to see Star Wars. They gonna follow men everywhere they go. Just like the NBA supports the WNBA. If it weren't for Caitlin Clark, they wouldn't even have the stuff they have now. It's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy stuff. As much as they want to criticize men and call us toxic and all this other junk, as soon as we move on, they right behind us. They still following us. They on our coattails. Okay, what do they want next? Let's see if it makes money, and then let's go ahead and co-opt it, and then we can go ahead and change it and destroy it, just like we did everything else. Everything. They brought Marvel. They brought all these things men love, sports, all this stuff, and they constantly try to ruin it. How come they ain't co-opting the stuff women doing? You know what I'm saying? They always got to find what men doing and take it and then call us haters because we don't like what they do to it. Ain't that some crazy stuff?
Heed well, Kathleen, and all others in your ranks. You might think we're toxic, and to a certain extent we might be, but above all, we're passionate, and even more than that, we're necessary. And that's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't.
Yeah, definitely go to her channel. I'm gonna leave the link below as usual. But yeah, she's definitely growing, and I think she's even gonna grow more. I heard that she's getting a lot of hits on this particular video because, you know, we need women, and men never denied that. We do need women. I'm not even gonna play that role like we don't need women. We do, especially during these times. And people like her, I don't care what you think her motivations are. Maybe her pockets are getting hurt by this. Maybe she is compassionate about Star Wars. Maybe she just don't like Kathleen Kennedy. Who knows? But either way it goes, this type of stuff helps us. And it helps Hollywood because Hollywood is set on destroying themselves for whatever reason. We can all come up with all kind of reasons, but does it really matter at this point? We're just going to move on to something else, man. And then they're going to just call us toxic and we're not going to care. Not at all. But I give kudos to this young lady for doing what she's doing. And I give her the bronze balls, man. The bronze balls for coming out swinging. She came out swinging on this video. And I'm a fan all of a sudden now. Okay? And hey, hopefully you'll see this video, Snarky J. If you do by some chance, I just want to say you did an amazing job with this. An amazing job. And I thank you for it. Okay? All right. I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T and Peace.